Alright, well, I ended that last video, so I'm going to make these two short ones. What I've done here is I've made groups and groups and groups, and I'm going to take right now, and I had a floor with my 3/4 inch decking. Again, we do this with layers. I'm going to go ahead and copy, hit Control here. Control does the copy. I'm going to copy that one up so that I can then use, if I want, I can use a scale tool. I'm grabbing on that one. That scale here, that's a little bit odd how that works, but you got that middle, and so I could actually scale it up or down. I'm just going to go ahead, and that was 3/4. I'm going to make it twice as thick by saying 2. Now I got my second decking here, which effectively is twice as thick as my first. So once again, that was already a group. So this idea of scaling and grouping, we got all this different stuff. I'm going to once again go ahead and I'm going to start showing you how then now you can cut sections through something like this. Now what you've got, the question was how much is there per square foot, and essentially what you have per square foot is from someplace, I'll use the construction line here, someplace right in here mid-span, right, all the way across the same thing there. I'm going to use a control here, grab, use my control to copy someplace to the middle there. And effectively what we could also then do is I can kind of just generally put a control line here. If we want to go here, again, I can use my holding the shift key there, I can take and put a line basically down that way to there, and I've got a construction line there, and I can go ahead and hit here, hit select control from there to there, and essentially what we have depicted here is you can see the perspective lines pretty nicely in this. I've got a perspective view. I'm going to go ahead and change it to parallel perspective. So in other words, those lines continue to be parallel. So that sense of what in effect is what is tributary to this particular joist is what I've kind of laid in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up some section planes by grouping, 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 grouping. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of this stuff. If you think about it, that's really the first floor deck, if you would. I am going to make a group. And now within that group, I'm going to go inside that group, and I'm going to set up one section plane. I'm going to group that, and then I'm going to set up another section plane, and then I'm going to group that, and et cetera, et cetera. And we can, I guess, move this to the top. I've never noticed that before because I want to grab that. Right now I'm going to hold my shift key. I'm going to set a section plane up right there. And I'm going to go ahead and now take all that and right click, make it a group. Take all that here, right click, and sometimes it doesn't make it so well. Grab all that, right click. I guess I can edit. Doesn't let me make it a group. Interesting. So I'm going to try it to make it a component. Take all that here. Hard to say why. But I'm going to go ahead, I guess. Doesn't let me just do anything. I'm going to go ahead and add a group outside is probably what that's why it won't let me do it. I'm going to now grab, hold the shift key, and I'm going to grab something right inside there. And that makes sense. And so I am going to go ahead and lose that. Kind of make a group inside of a group inside of a group inside of a group. So that sense then of, let's see if I can do that. I'm going to grab this here, hold my shift key to grab on top, grab all that there, and now if I go right click, I can make a group of that, which means now I can add another section plane. So kind of an interesting, I'm going to add another section plane kind of along this other line here. So I'm going to do that by grabbing a section plane. I can actually try to find that side, hold the shift key, go to this side. Now in a second what I want to do is I want to take that and right click, reverse the cut. When I've got that, you see I'm already now, I can take this, go ahead, take each of these and edit, make a group. And then finally I'm going to add one last section plane, and that is coming the other way. And I think I've grabbed too much, but I can go ahead and add a section plane here. Hopefully I'm going to grab the face, the side. You see it's not grabbing. I'm going to hold the shift key now, take it out to there. Same thing with that section plane. I'm going to click onto it, right click, reverse the cut. And now basically I have what is in effect that 1 square foot. I'm sorry, 1 running foot. You would actually do it per square foot, come up with a weight, and that would be your pounds per square foot. So it turns out to be, in effect, in 1 square foot you have 3/4 by inch by 1 foot of plywood, 3/4, whatever your thickness of your tile is, by 1 foot of that. You have 9 1/4 by 1 1/2 by 1 for the others. You add up those numbers times the unit weights, and that becomes your stress or pressure in 1 foot acting down. So if we look at this now this way, let's see if we can actually get rid of this box. Will it let me from when I'm within here? Right, so what I've got now, if I basically go to view here and get rid of my section planes, albeit I've got a little bit of something hanging on to me there, that essentially is showing you one particular small square footage, albeit again you can do all kinds of different things with it. You can take here, but it's kind of showing you cut away of one particular ones, and you can do other kind of highlighting in terms of putting blocks on components on top of components. But this idea of sectioning and nesting, what I did there is I nested four different section planes, and I can take a look at the section planes again, not necessarily that way because it becomes explode. So when I go through and now explode this one, not so much that one, but if I go ahead and explode the group, because that one is not in the group, I can finally take this one, I guess. If I really don't want to see those section planes, I can take that one, right click, make a group. You can group 4 times in. I can say now view, turn off my section planes, and I kind of get that sense here. I can say view, turn out my section cuts. So my section planes, I can show where they all are, 1, 2, 3, 4, but I can then show my section cuts, and I kind of individualize it down to there. So that's kind of a good, useful way to kind of cut a section. You can do anything but a radial section, and that would really be something much nicer. What would be really nice, what's really nice in these is that you can make these planes move in and out to animate. So I'm going to publish this one mostly for a demonstration of tools in SketchUp, but also to show you that basically you'd have to add up the total weight of all the things that are in 1 square foot, and that would get you the answer to that problem. Learn to draw sketches by hand so you don't have to play around with stuff like this. Thanks for listening.